I think I just watched the best episode of TV I've seen all year, and I need to talk about it, so enter Sandman. Look, I think most people are already aware that this show's great. The performances are awesome, there's some really cool visual design, but I think The Sandman's at its best when it focuses microscopically on humanity. Small-scale, individual people and situations. What makes The Sandman great to me is when it zooms in on the minutiae of human existence, using its supernatural premise and elements to drive emotions, experiences, and philosophy in moments of heightened reality. Think Constantine and Rachel in The Flat, or think episode 5, 24/7. John Dee's on the lam, having stolen Dream's ruby, which makes dreams come true, and ends up in a diner, that most mundane of all rural American settings. John meets a waitress, Bet, who's also an aspiring author, and they bond over the desire for a more honest world. Besides those two, there's 5 others in the diner. Kate and Gary, who run Vanguard, a local company. Mark, a young professional interviewing for a position there. Marsh, the cook, and Jude, who's reeling from a fight with her girlfriend the night before. Apart from Mark and John, these people all know each other. They're diner regulars, and their lives are intertwined. That's the cast of this episode. Apart from a last-minute reappearance from Morpheus and a blink-and-you'll-miss-it appearance from the Fates, those are all the characters we'll see for the next 50 minutes or so, because the rest of the episode, set almost exclusively within this diner, shows us a more honest world. John uses the ruby to compel these people to be honest, brutally honest, saying only what they really think and what they really mean. And where this episode takes that premise and the gradual, almost imperceptible way the suspense ratchets up, the tension rises, is spellbinding to watch. In the context of the series, it almost feels like a separate short film. If you forget about John sitting in the corner holding his ruby, this is a setting we'd not seen before, with characters entirely new. If you're watching the show without having read The Sandman, you're thinking the whole way through, when's it gonna cut back to Morpheus? Surely this isn't the whole episode. And that was me. Look, I went into this cold. I never got around to reading the Sandman comics, and when I heard they were doing this adaptation, I did my best to avoid learning too much about the property. No spoilies! So I'm not going to come at this episode from the perspective of adaptation, like I've done before with other stuff. No, I'm approaching it purely as storytelling, plain and simple. And this is a masterclass. I love the way the plot slowly reveals itself. You never know where it'll end up, what'll happen in the end, but at every turn, you can just about make out what the immediate next step could be. A few seconds, maybe a minute or so before something happens, you realize the possibility. You guess where it's going, like in Marsh and Bet's kitchen conversation, or when Kate and Gary try to leave the diner. It's kind of the narrative equivalent of playing a game like Silent Hill or Morrowind. You can see what's just behind you, you can just about make out what's right in front of you, but look any further forward and the world disappears into mist. When you've seen it, when you go back and look down at the whole picture from above, it's clear in retrospect how it was all gonna go. The fog's gone. But in the moment, you're jumping from second to second like stepping stones, too enthralled in each little section, each little revelation, and where that leads to think long term. So you can always just about tell what's coming next, and the fun part is the way the episode's trajectory inverts this principle on an emotional level. In the first half or so of the episodes, it seems at times that John might be right. Sometimes a totally honest world does lead to happiness. Moments like Gary getting to eat the meal he wants, or Jude and Bet finding a sliver of joy after each of their relationships had fallen apart. Mark getting to pretty much skip that whole interview after getting introduced to Kate. At times like this, before the episode gets dark, you see these directions, the potentialities, and you hope they happen. You hope your read of the episode is correct, that it'll go the way you think, but before long, this reverses, in a pretty brutal fashion. We begin to see the quite considerable downsides of a world where lies, self-delusions, fictions are stripped from people. As the TV gives us snippets of a world going to hell, as we begin to see that John isn't just affecting the diner but the whole Earth, we see Jude admit she hit her girlfriend. We see Gary and Kate approaching infidelity, and we see the impending fallout from decisions like this looming ever closer. Now, we're not hoping we're right. We're hoping we're wrong. We're thinking, yeah, this is where 24/7 could go next, but I really hope it doesn't. But you are right, because the episode's laid out all the pieces in advance. And I think that's the reason this all works so well. That's what takes this episode from just a thrilling and shocking ride into brilliant, satisfying TV. You, the viewer, are playing an active role in it. Ahead of Bet's realization that she's into Jude, we'd been given the hint.
Judy's so pretty she could have any man in town. I think some people are just afraid to be happy, you know?
Ahead of Jude's admission that she hit Donna, we'd seen a glimpse of her violent side.
I hope she's alright.
Do you?
No. Hope she's been in a fucking car accident. At least that would explain why she hasn't texted back.
This same principle writ large is all over the episode. We'd been given these building blocks in some cases from pretty early on, and so the viewing experience here is active. The cogs in our brains are whirring, adding together all these bits and pieces in order to suss out what might happen just as it does. If this episode's pacing hadn't been so measured, if the suspense wasn't all enveloping, this might not have worked, but it does. And that all makes for an amazing viewing experience. The other cool thing about 24/7 is just how aware of its own narrative this episode is, and how it uses this metatextual awareness thematically. There's a little exchange between John and aspiring author Bet early on, which I think turns out to be extremely relevant to how we should interpret this episode.
It's fiction, I guess, because all my stories have happy endings.
It's because you know when to stop. And the trouble with stories is, if you keep them going long enough, they all end in death.
Most of these characters have something approaching a happy ending somewhere in the middle of the episode, where if you ended the episode right there, cut to black, they'd have benefited from this curse of honesty. For instance, Jude's realization that Donna had left her for good reason, Mark getting that introduction, or Bet immediately after hearing Marsh telling her that she wasn't really into him. But this is real life, for these characters at least, so they don't get these endings. We keep going past the happy endings until they're all dead, the only real ending any of them can get. But it isn't real life for us. This is TV, this is the Sandman, so we do get an ending. After a showdown, after having reclaimed his power from John, Morpheus brings us to a world wrecked by the Ruby's power. Things are bad, but Morpheus isn't human. Morpheus is Dream. There was a really awesome speech a few minutes back where Morpheus points out that an entirely honest world is a world without dreams. Are dreams fictions, strictly speaking? Are they non-honest, non-objective truths? Maybe, but without dreams, there's no hope. There's nothing but the cold, hard, impulse-driven world. The world this episode results in. But Morpheus is Dream, an agent of fiction, and in this sense, he's kind of the mediator between his world and ours. So he gives us one last fiction, an ending to restore our hope.
Tomorrow, the rebuilding will begin, but tonight at least, humanity will sleep in peace.
John's right, happy endings are lies. But Morpheus is right too. These lies, these dreams are necessary. They keep us hopeful. The Sandman isn't mortal. Endings for him aren't just the death at the end. Like we said way back at the beginning of this video, the Sandman examines the human experience, using its mythical, supernatural elements to do so at a slight remove. That's what we see here. Morpheus isn't human, isn't mortal, so uniquely, he can step away from this world where Bet or Jude couldn't. He can give us an ending that isn't just death, and somehow frame this horrible story in an optimistic, life-affirming way. Is this ending a fiction? Perhaps, but it's a necessary one. So hats off to 24/7, and hats off to Sandman. This is an amazing episode in an amazing season of television. So much so that this wasn't the video I was planning to put out today. I was working on another, longer video, and I nearly had it done. But when I saw this episode, I knew I had to push that back. That also means I haven't seen the rest of this show, and apparently the next episode is even better. So I'm gonna wrap this up, because, well, I want to go and watch it. And the sooner I get this made, the sooner I can. So I hope some of you guys liked this video, and if you tried not to spoil the rest of the show for me in the comments, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks, as always, to all my patrons on screen now, especially Kevin Douglas and Ian Fifield. Leave a like if you wouldn't mind, and I'm gonna go and watch Sandman now, so peace out, I guess.